Everyone just wants to live, laugh, love. But in this disappointing world, there are many who are faced with lies.
They were having an affair for a year and a half, and I found out from an anonymous Facebook message.
How do you think someone moves forward from something like that?
He dropped me and my son off at the side of a country road.
This is crazy.
This is Live, Laugh, Lies.
Welcome to the very first Tell Me Lies episode where you tell me lies. I'd like to introduce one of my lovely producers and now dear friend, Kelsey Meyer.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my God, so glad you're here. We've been talking about this for a minute.
I know.
Because honestly, after every podcast episode that we film, I feel like we go find like a random fast food place and unpack our actual personal lives.
Right.
Yeah.
Typically that's what happens.
Yeah.
We have a good debrief, catch up. Yeah, I'm really excited. It's been really fun to watch you with this show because you have such a good way at navigating it all. Everyone has so many stories. It's like A, insane, but then B, it makes you feel less alone. So anyways, I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to dive into this.
I'm happy you're here. I feel like everyone needs to know you and your essence because I feel like you bring so much to my life in the short amount of time that I've known you. So
I know we had a nice little like immediate soul sister bond, which
literally.
I'm so grateful for.
And now we share a therapist.
That's right. So it's like an even deeper bond.
Yes. Shout out Jacqueline.
We love her.
We love her.
I talk about her weekly.
Me too.
Like on anything I'm recording, I'm just like, oh, she keeps me sane.
Literally, we need to have her on the show because she's just.
Oh, we should.
I know, she's the best. I feel like it would be like maybe a breach of her.
Potentially.
I don't know, but I'm like, let's bring her on because she's literally amazing.
Let's explore it.
How adorable is that? Matching therapists. It's no doubt that Susie and Kelsey have a beautiful bond, but there's a much bigger, more meaningful reason as to why she's taken off her producer hat and is in front of the camera today.
Okay, so to start the episode off, I guess we should let people know what we're here to talk about, which is affairs. On Tell Me Lies Tuesdays on our Instagram, we have people like submit stories. The most common theme we see is affairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like everybody knows somebody, whether it's yourself or a friend that's like been cheated on. Although actually now that I think about it, I have a few girlfriends that I actually don't think have ever been cheated on. Or maybe
I have
they
not.
Don't know. You have
No,
not been
I
cheated
have
on.
no, I have not.
Wow.
I'm like
Ever. Yeah, knock on wood. Knock
on
everything.
wood. I feel like here's the thing, and this is where it gets sticky and we can get into this.
Okay.
Like there's such a weird gray area now more than ever with dating.
Yeah.
With the
Oh,
situationship,
true.
with all that crap, you know, and I think that like yes, in those situations, absolutely if we're gonna count that. But like I'm counting like fully locked, committed relationship. No.
Never. That's amazing.
No.
Wow.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
But I feel like I would know.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I feel like you would know.
Wait, have you?
Like been cheated on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Twice.
Did we talk about this?
Yeah, so the cancer guy cheated on me.
Oh, I didn't realize the cancer guy cheated on you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he was a full-fledged
Yeah, he was like
narcissist.
wild. And then the guy that was like secretly married.
Oh God, yeah.
But also
Yeah,
he wasn't technically like with his wife.
That
but
was
then
a
he was
whole-
going back to her. So it was kind of like two-timing both of us.
Yeah.
If you aren't up to speed and haven't watched or listened to episode 1 of this show, I would highly recommend you do so to hear Susie go into these, well, let's just be honest, insane stories in great detail.
Okay, so today we have a few voicemails and then a DM that we're going to discuss. If you're listening and you have a story, literally go to our Instagram, Live, Laugh, Lies podcast, because we have a place where you can call in and leave us a voicemail, which we're going to hop right into.
I'm scared.
I'm scared as well. I haven't listened to these.
No. And I'm like, honestly, I purposely did not listen to them because I'm like, cheating, like I said, it is like, oh, I just don't understand. Like, it makes me so mad. My biggest fear, and also I'm like, what? So anyways,
I can't comprehend it.
Me neither.
Yeah.
So I'm scared to listen to these, but let's.
Okay.
I have the
let's do
first
it.
voicemail.
Hi. I don't even know where to start with this story. I'm the one that wrote in about my ex-boyfriend having a year and a half long affair with his best friend's wife and everybody knowing but me and the husband. But yeah, I just want to say the story's a lot crazier than even what that message said. Basically, I uprooted my whole life to move in with this man when I was 19. We were together for 8 years, and we owned a house together. We had a big group of friends together, and towards the end of the relationship, I was doing a Friendsgiving where I was cooking for everybody, and everybody was downstairs in our bar basement, and it just turned into a lot. Found out that they were fucking in the bathroom downstairs while everyone else was down there and knew about it. The husband wasn't there yet, so that's why he didn't know about it, but everybody else knew. And I found out
That's
months
fucked.
later from an anonymous Facebook message from someone that was in that friend group, who to this day I still don't know who it was, that let me know that they were having an affair for a year and a half, and myself and the ex husband were the only ones that didn't know. Lots more, but that is all I could do in 90 seconds. Crazy.
Oh, my heart.
What the fuck?
Oh,
Wait, I do not understand how the whole friend group knew and nobody said anything for
that
a year
is,
and a half.
yeah, honestly, that's kind of the part that pisses me off the most.
The most. That's the biggest trigger.
I'm like, okay, none of them are your friends.
None. I hope she's not friends with any of them.
Yeah, me
anymore,
too.
Except for the girl that told her.
Ugh.
But even her.
But also, like, anonymously?
Yeah, I'm like, put it in the mailbox.
I'm like, what? Put it in the
Literally
mailbox?
write a note and put it in her mailbox. Like, girl, he's cheating.
I'm also just like, again, they were young, right? But 19, but then being together for 8 years.
Yeah.
That is your whole world. Like,
Wait, so was it, do you think it was 8 years before they were 19?
I think
And
they
this happened at
started, like, they
19?
got together at 19.
Okay, and then to like 27.
That's what I am
Okay.
assuming.
Okay, that makes more sense. I feel like it's way too young to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like to be together, I mean, that's your whole life. I'm like, I'm being dramatic saying
Yeah.
that, but like, it really is.
It's your whole young adult life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
That is devastating. Also terrifying. I feel like that makes me think of the second guy that I
Yeah.
was like seeing. He was technically married. There was a time where we were all in a situation like a party scenario, and everybody was there, including her and him, and they were like sneaking off. And,
No.
Yeah.
I'm just like, the audacity.
I know, and I didn't know it at the time. I found out later.
It's so disgusting, and I'm so curious. I want to know where she's at in her life now.
I know.
How she is. I'm sure it's been really hard for her to get into new relationships and not be
Right.
petrified.
I do just wish they had to like live in shame,
Some karma.
some kind of karma.
But
to
I
come
believe
back.
it will happen. Do you? Do you believe in karma like that?
I actually do believe in karma.
Yeah.
Like I believe in, relationship, like personal life karma. I feel like sometimes in business I do think bad people get ahead. But then I remind myself, I'm like, but then anyone that's willing to like step on others to get ahead in business, which they might have a thriving business, I just know their personal life sucks.
They're miserable.
They're miserable.
100%.
Their wife hates them.
100,
You know what I mean?
100%. Their kids hate them.
Their
Whatever.
kids hate them. Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Oh, this poor girl. I'm just like,
know.
I'm also so grateful. And this is what I was saying at the beginning. Like to you, I'm so grateful that people are calling in and you're sharing these stories because it
Yeah.
makes us feel less alone. It doesn't make it better, but it makes you feel less alone. And I'm just like, dang, so
Yeah.
many people have also gone through that though. And like, so I know this was anonymous, but if you're
Yeah.
listening, hopefully you're listening, you're like, you are not alone.
Right.
Like, we love you. Susie and I both got chills at the same
Multiple
time.
times, yeah.
Oh, it breaks my heart.
I know on this podcast we talk a lot about dating crimes, but I have to be honest, I've also fallen victim to terrible takeout time and time again. I know you guys would think, like, Susie, I would think you've learned by now. Like, I'm always posting my takeout things on my Instagram story. And it's disappointing because it's never going to be as good as it is in the restaurant. It's soggy. It's way overpriced. But thanks to Cook Unity, I no longer have to worry about overpriced takeout that literally disappoints like 9 out of 10 times. With Cook Unity, you can get culinary justice. The meals are cooked by real chefs, and some of you may even know these chefs if you go look at the website. These are people that you might have seen on TV and different shows. I'm personally always looking for meals that are a balance of like delicious, decadent, but also kind of fit into my healthy-ish lifestyle, which makes Cook Unity perfect for me. I get to select the chef and the kind of meal I want. It's perfect. I recently got this seared shrimp quinoa bowl that I can't stop thinking about. I wish I could make it at home. I wish I had the skills, but I just don't. And thankfully, I don't have to. Cook Unity is there to save the day. So go to cookunity.com/live-laugh-lies or enter code live-laugh-lies before checkout for 50% off your first week. That's 50% off your first week by using code LIVELAUGHLIES or going to cookunity.com/livelaughlies.
Okay, how do you think someone moves forward from something like that?
A lot of therapy.
Therapy. Do you think there's a certain amount of time that somebody has to wait before getting out of like first of all, an 8-year relationship?
It's a long time.
And then on top of that, like healing from it, like, and also then you're at like a late 20s age. Like, do you have to take like 3 years? Like, what do you think?
I don't think you have to take 3 years, but I don't think that, like, I know a lot of people who go from relationship to relationship to relationship, and it's like they never do the healing because you can't necessarily heal in a relationship. There's a lot of healing that happens in a relationship, like in relation to another human, but like you have to do some personal work. And 8 years and like you're his best friend, like it was so messy that I think that like I wouldn't necessarily put a timeline on it, but I think that minimum a year of like just doing some pretty intense work on yourself just to heal, like not that you were the problem at all, but it's like doing that, I don't know, that personal work so that you can move on and not bring that into another relationship.
Right. Also, like rebuilding a friend group.
Yeah, goodbye to all of those
Goodbye
people.
to
I'm telling you, that is the
everyone.
first thing that I was like, hell no. Hell no. Could you imagine?
No. I also, like, I actually can't imagine because I really trust, like, my friends.
Yeah.
Like, I think I've got, like, amazing friends from
Yes.
every different walk of life. And I'm like, I can't imagine a single one of them not telling me the second they have an inkling.
Even, like, and I think about it now being in a relationship, even our friends, like my, like, boyfriend's friends, if something was going on, they would tell me. I really believe they would.
That's actually amazing.
Yeah.
That's something that I've found, like, as an adult.
Yeah.
Because my girlfriends are like that. We actually had, like, my hometown girlfriends, we had a friend, like, cheat on her spouse. And we were getting pulled into this, and we were confronting her, and we were like, you have to tell him, you have to tell him. And it kept happening. And she, like, tried to get one of us to cover for her at some point. And we literally, like, kicked her out of the friend group.
Yeesh,
which is really sad because, like, obviously she's going through some shit for whatever. Like, we don't know. I don't know why she was doing this, but like, obviously she was dealing with some demons. But you can't expect your friends to lie for you and expect them to, like, show up and not be like, hey, you need to be in therapy. You need to tell him. You need to stop doing this.
Yeah.
And so I trust that, like, my core friends that I've had for like 20 years, like, I know that they would call me out so quick.
Totally.
Or they would go to my partner, or, you know, like, they hold me accountable. We hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
And it's really important for me now, like, one of my non-negotiables is, like, having a friend group that is, one, like, trustworthy, kind, good humans that, like, from an outside perspective, I can look at and be like, these are good people and they will hold you accountable.
Totally. You need it. I always say, who is it? I believe it's Adam Grant, who another expert we should have on the pod.
Yeah.
But he talks about, like, having a challenge network, and it's like you should have your friends in your life should be your challenge network. Like, they don't always agree with you.
Yeah.
They don't always, and it's like they're coming at it from a loving way, but it's like, no, challenge me. And so, like, for you guys, it's not like you kicked her out and you were just like, screw you, bye. It was like, no, you guys tried, and then it got to a point where you were like, we can't take this on anymore, and you're not helping yourself or us, so it's like, no.
Yeah, we don't want to lie for you and, like, lie to your husband. Like,
no.
Bye.
So challenge network, bye.
Goodbye indeed. Wow, I learn something new every day at this job, and hearing directly from you guys truly never gets old. Let's get into the next one.
Okay,
Bye, girl.
so shall we hop over to the DMs?
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm scared. These are hurting my heart.
I know. Okay, this listener, for purposes of the podcast, we will call her Stephanie.
Okay.
Stephanie originally submitted her story via Tell Me Lies Tuesdays on Instagram, saying that her boyfriend had 2 girlfriends.
I really wanted to have 2 girlfriends.
You already have a girlfriend?
I do, yeah, but I wanted to.
Okay, well, turns out this story is actually crazier than 2 girlfriends. So
gosh.
Steph provided the full rundown of what happened. Stephanie was in a relationship from the end of high school into 2013 until her first semester of college in 2016. So 3 years. Her boyfriend was the bad boy while she was that goody two-shoes vibe. Initially charmed by his charisma, Stephanie soon discovered that he lied about even the most basic things like his name.
This sounds like your story.
I was going to say, this literally sounds like me and
yes.
in Cancer Boy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I was so innocent and naive. Like,
Oh.
it sounds like her. Which made her realize he was willing to fabricate even simple details, which brings us to his list of lies. 1. Break and bluff. Okay. He told Stephanie he tackled 3 kids trying to break into his house while on the phone with her. There was no background noise to support this story, and he never mentioned it again.
What?
Yeah. Financial facade. While in the car with Stephanie and her friends, he pretended to call his banker about selling stocks. Again, there was no one on the other line, and it sounded completely fake. 3. Cheater's confession. He eventually admitted to cheating on Stephanie with 9 different girls, though she later heard the number was actually much higher.
Oh my God.
4. Closure crap. When they met up for closure in 2018, again, this sounds like my ex, the closure thing. He claimed he wanted to get back together with her multiple times, even though he was still dating someone else at the time. So nothing's changed.
What?
Okay, 5. Ink delusion. He claimed to have gotten a tattoo of his old dog's collar around his arm, which he never actually did. 6.
These are just like stupid things to lie about.
These are
like,
insane.
What?
This is actually insane. Death deception.
Oh my God, it's literally the same story. You guys are
lied-
dating the same person.
Yeah, wait, what was this guy's name?
Really?
He lied about a family member having passed away, and that family member had not died at the time he claimed. 7. Academic alibi. He told Stephanie he was still attending university in Chicago, where he had actually been kicked out. Okay, so after they broke up, Stephanie eventually contacted his new girlfriend to compare notes. They discovered he had used the same manipulative tactics on both of them. Looking back, Stephanie realized she had ignored numerous red flags and wished she had trusted her instincts from the start. Quote from Stephanie: "If you think you're dealing with a pathological liar, trust your gut."
Dang.
Whoa.
I would be curious to ask her like what she was feeling. Like, I'm sure it was like she was probably depressed. Her whole body, like she was probably so tense and anxious all the time. Like, women always know. Trust your gut for real. Like,
Yeah, we definitely know.
that's nuts.
I think that because when I was reading that, it kind of made me think when this guy that I dated lied about cancer.
Yeah.
It was like so bizarre, and you kind of like know that it's a lie.
Something's off.
But you're like, how do I call this out?
Yeah.
Like somebody like lying and pretending like he's fighting off intruders. Like, it's giving delusion.
I'm just like, wait, what? Like, it's just so crazy. Like, some of these things are so nuts. Like, yeah, the tackled imaginary intruders, the tattoo. I'm like, bro, why?
Yeah.
Like, so it's so actually sad and sick. Like, this person is probably so sick. Like, to make up things like that, they're just like, what? I don't understand.
Also, it makes me think of like a character that would be played on like, did you ever watch Mad TV? Or is that what it was called?
Yeah, I think so.
It was like on Comedy Central.
Oh,
I think it
yeah,
was Mad
yeah,
TV.
yeah.
And it was like almost like improv characters,
Yes.
where they would be so ridiculous and bizarre.
So extreme.
Like also very
Yeah.
politically incorrect, but like,
Right.
but also I just feel like this is like a character made up on like an improv show where they're like pretending to like fake tackle somebody. I'm like, like in what world are you living in where you're like faking a fight while you're on the phone with somebody?
I also am like, what are you getting from that? And that's why I'm like, you have to be so like not well.
Yeah.
Because like, what was he getting from all of these lies? Stephanie, girl, you are better off.
You're better off.
Goodbye. That's nuts. But it is
Yeah.
kind of crazy how much it paralleled your story.
It is. It makes me like, again, I'm like so uncomfortable calling this guy like a narcissist, but I'm like, no, like, I don't know why, but I'm like,
Yeah.
absolutely. And just the lying alone, like, it's so bizarre. It's so weird.
Well, I think it's kind of what I was saying. Like, it's okay to have like sympathy for these people. And that's why I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sad for this guy. Like,
I
he's not
know.
well. Same with yours. Like, I'm sad for them. But like, you can't have empathy for them, right? It's like,
Right.
no, they're messed up people. And what they did was like so effed up. But like, I can be sad. I can be like sympathetic.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Also,
Crazy.
People lying about people dying.
That's got to
Crazy.
end.
Wait, who's
Brooke.
I was gonna say
Schofield.
Brooke,
I
yes.
thought the same
I was like, wait, her
thing.
ex lied about like his family dying, or
Yes.
someone in his immediate family dying,
Dying.
and they were never dead.
And then didn't he like double down and be like, that happened? Or like something crazy.
Yeah, like
Listen.
a funeral or something. And he was making an accent.
It's scary. Honestly, I do love men, but like listening, being on the show or listening, I'm like, it just makes me dislike them more and more. But I do love them. I like the good ones.
We like the good ones.
We like the good ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow, that is scary.
Yeah.
It's all fun and games until someone lies about death. I have to ask, what are some of you smoking? Asking for a friend. Anyways, let's continue on.
We have another voicemail. Are you ready?
Yeah, I was gonna say, should we play it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm nervous again, but let's go.
Hello, I'm trying to make this short and sweet, but long story short, I am actually, I own a mental health clinic, so what I do for a living is actually with couples and mental health and everything like that. So it was crazy when something like this happened to me, but dated a guy. There's a long, detailed story about it, but anyway, he really wanted to go to couples counseling, all the good stuff to make us healthy, etc. Clearly, I'm supporting that. It's what I do for a living. To find out how super narcissistic and very rough of a person and hidden of a person he actually was. I went home for a holiday and he didn't want to come home because he had business, and I was very supportive with that. He texted and called my family to apologize, was sending them pictures, was sending them all this stuff, my dad, my mom, etc. And then one of my best friends had texted me a picture of this girl she followed on social media in a different state, and he was there with her in all the pictures. Here to come to find out, he had a double life. He was visiting her. We ended up getting in contact. He had a whole-on relationship with her. Was living with me, was sending her parents stuff, sending my parents stuff. Bizarre. He tried to still lie his way out of it. It was crazy, and all this other stuff started coming out. It was wild.
I need all of these people on the show.
I know.
I have so many questions.
So many questions. Were there signs?
That's what exactly I was going to say. Like, were there, now looking back, like, were there red flags?
It just makes me like, I feel like I actually do need clarity on that, because are we overlooking things? Like, are we, because I've found myself in these positions, so I'm not being judgmental or saying that it's like, but I'm like, I've definitely overlooked things, but I'm like, were there signs? Like, was there any inkling? I need to ask her. Like, I need to call this woman back.
Same. It's crazy because there's do you know who Dr. Amen is?
Yes.
He's the best. We love him. But he talks about how, like, when you first fall in love, it's like your brain's like on cocaine for the first something like 6 months, like something long like that, which why he says that is he's like, you can't like make discerning decisions.
Right.
And so someone like this, it's like she does this for a living, but still she's like in love, right? And so she's not seeing things necessarily clearly, which we all do. We all like, oh my gosh, I've fallen into that so many times.
Right.
But I really am so curious now with her looking back. I'm like, okay, now in hindsight,
right,
did you see those things? Like, was it you like loving this person and being in this, what you thought was a healthy, good relationship? Or was he actually like, so good at what he was doing?
And honestly, he might have been so good just because the fact that he was sending both of these families gifts.
Yeah.
Sometimes people that are like really good gift givers and really good at like that outward. Yeah, exactly. I feel, because I've found in relationships it frustrating when I'm with a guy who just like doesn't know how to like be sweet and thoughtful, like do the flowers, do the little things.
Yep.
But then like they're not cheaters, liars, manipulators. They also just like don't know how to like,
they need to be taught.
They need to be taught.
Literally, yes.
So sometimes like ladies, I think this is an opportunity. Like, yes, they should be doing those things, but sometimes they need to be taught. Like, if they have a good base, a good like foundation of being a good human being,
yes,
they're teachable, they're like receptive.
Yes.
We don't have to write them off.
Yes.
Because sometimes the people that are doing those things are overcompensating.
100%. And I feel like you and I actually talk about this a lot because in my relationship, which is, I mean, fairly new. It's been like 4 months, right? But there was things like my previous ones where I was with like love bombers and like these, I was in one with a pretty narcissistic, like crazy person who was doing all of those things like you were saying, like over the top stuff. And so like being in a healthy relationship now, I was like, where are my where are my flowers?
Where's my bouquet?
Exactly. Which again, like you said, it needs to be like so many people, like guys who I think exactly what you just said, like the healthy ones, don't necessarily think that way, or they're just not taught. So it's like you need to be vocal and communicate that, like, hey, I need this, or I would like this, and then they show up. But yeah, no, it's exactly. I feel like
It's tough.
ooh,
Both the guys that were crazy, like liars, cheaters, to me were so good at the romantic stuff.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Same with all of my past crazies.
Isn't that?
Why is that?
I don't know. We need an expert for that.
We do.
one.
We need an expert for it. Well, I think it's just it's love bombing, right?
Yeah.
That's what I would assume someone would say. It's like it really is, because it's like they're overcompensating
Yeah.
for things.
Sound off in the comments if you've been love bombed / like romantically swooned, or if you've been with a cheater, liar, manipulator. Were they really good at those things?
Yeah. And if you're in a secure, beautiful relationship now, did it take some like conversations and teaching to like get to a place, which I think they all do, like
yeah, to an extent I think so too,
because it's give and take on both sides. Like there are
Right.
things that like we need to do for them that we're like, oh wait, we weren't doing that.
totally.
But wow,
Wow,
girlies,
we're unpacking a lot.
We're unpacking a lot.
We truly are unpacking so much here today. I think we have just enough time for one more if you think that you can mentally handle it. But first, let's all take a deep breath in and out together. Inhale and exhale. All right, team, let's do this.
Okay, should we move to the next voicemail?
Let's do it.
I was once engaged to a guy who had his entire family convinced that he was super religious.
What?
Moved me and my son in with him.
Oh, God.
We planned an entire wedding, spent so much money on deposits, and about 6 weeks before the wedding, we were driving back from church, and he dropped me and my son off at the side of a country road. This was back before Uber.
What?
And he took off to Vegas. We obviously broke up. I moved all my stuff out while he was in Vegas because he said that when he got back, he was going to change the locks. And when I came to pick up the last of my stuff, I saw a stroller in a box in the garage, and he was married to someone else within 3 more months,
Oh, that
who
poor girl.
he then went on to have 2 children with. So he was definitely cheating on me. And he lied to everyone in his life. He was a perpetual liar.
Okay, first question: do we think he's still with that other girl?
I know.
Because I doubt it.
I doubt it as well.
Right.
There's no way that wait.
my
So
God.
3 months after they broke up, he was married.
And then had 2 kids.
Do you think that he got someone pregnant and this is like?
It's kind of what you were saying.
I know.
Initially.
I'm like, did we get our wish?
Right. You're like, did I just manifest
Did
that?
I just manifest a story that happened in the past? Because that
you
feels
did.
awfully familiar to my
I think you did.
toxic thing that I said earlier.
I mean, maybe though.
Yeah, like I feel like that could be a scenario where he was like cheating, got someone pregnant, they got married because he was religious, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna have a kid," because she found a stroller. Like what?
I just am like, I don't know. I keep like, it's like listening to these and all these stories. I'm like, you guys, there are good guys out there. Because this
Yeah.
is crazy.
Also,
This is crazy.
We need to sound off for the good guys.
Yes.
Like
yes.
send us the good guys.
Yes.
The guys that are healed that can talk about their relationships and give advice because
Yes.
we need to have them on too. We need some positivity.
We
because
need
this
some
is
of
a
our
lot.
some of our good guys to come on the show
Right.
because oh my god, this poor girl. She would like good for her though to not be stuck in that and not
Yeah.
be. She's like, I'm moving my stuff out
Oh, absolutely.
because I
yeah.
think that could be
hard
obviously
with a kid.
and a kid exactly.
Oh my gosh. Also him dropping although
was just gonna say
dropping her
that.
off on the side of the road is actually diabolical.
Yeah, no, that's next level.
I think a lot of some people would stay, but I was gonna say a lot of people would be like, I mean, that would be like a final straw. That is insanity.
It's so funny because I feel like when you have a breakup, it's always easier when you're like mad at you and I have talked about this. Like when you're mad at the person, like if they did
Right.
something, it's easier to be like, okay, F you, bye.
Right.
And I'm kind of like, good. I'm glad he dropped her off because then she gets
Right.
to say F you, bye, and get the heck away from that. Like run as fast as you can.
Yeah, he didn't make it hard on her.
Right.
Like he didn't make it hard for her to leave because
Right.
he was such an a-hole.
Okay, y'all don't have to rely on pumpkin spice alone to get into the fall vibes this season. Embrace the natural power of cannabis this season with Veya. Whether you're lounging by a fire, exploring a new adventure, maybe going to a pumpkin patch, I really feel like Vea's premium, federally legal cannabis products are a perfect companion for any occasion. They're farmed and crafted with care in the US and trusted by over 500,000 customers, myself included. I'm not gonna lie, I love these products. I've tried a handful of them now, and one of my favorites is actually a THC-free product. It's their Flow State gummy, and it has B12, lion's mane, CBD, and it helps you get into like work mode. That's like one of my favorite things. I don't have a lot of time to just like goof off throughout my day, and I really need to get into that flow state, and these gummies are amazing for that. I also had a few of these gummies shipped out to my dad's house. He loves to dabble, and he tried the Dreams gummies, and he really liked them. It's a really low THC product, and they have other vitamins and things like that in the gummy to help promote good sleep. So whether you like THC or not, I feel like there's literally something for everyone here. It makes for a great gift. My dad loved them. It's such a fun gift. So if you're over 21, head to veahemp.com and use the code LIVELAUGHLIES and receive 15% off. That's VIIAHEMP.com and use code LIVELAUGHLIES at checkout. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. And don't forget, they offer discreet shipping to all 50 states.
I feel like something that you mentioned to me about your relationship at some point, which we kind of like touched on earlier, is like just like having the ability to communicate with your partner. Like there were some things that you were feeling where you were like, oh, I really like needed this. And you were like, we were at dinner and I said like, can I say it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you were like, you said that you guys were at dinner and you were like, ask me questions.
Yeah.
You like
You
basically just told your partner now, like, I need you to like
be curious.
Be curious about me. And I feel like that's something as you get older, and if you're like listening to this, navigating relationships, like it's hard to ask for what you want because you want your partner to know it. And I am so guilty of this.
So hard.
I want my partner to know exactly what I want and how to love me, but I don't want to have to give them the blueprint.
Okay, well, it's so funny. This is all so full circle because I had the most beautiful conversation with our therapist, Jacqueline, this week about this. So I want to come back to that. But yes, something from the like beginning of this relationship that I've been like committed to myself is I'm like, you will speak up when you feel something.
Yes.
Because I think that like that is our detriment in relationships is then you just get, especially as women, we don't speak up. We don't say like, ask for what we need. And then we become smaller and smaller and smaller. Yeah. And it goes to what you were saying earlier about like not writing the good ones off because usually it's the narcissistic or manipulative or like whatever people in that category who are the charmers who know exactly what to do, what to say, what to give, love bomb. And you're like, wow, I don't have to give them the blueprint. They got it all.
Right.
And then like 2 weeks later, it's like, or a month later, or whatever it is, you're getting, it's flipped. But I do feel like when I started my relationship, it was more like, okay, let's coach each other, like how to be, like how to love one another, and like tell me what you need, I'll tell you what I need. But it was hard. Like it still is hard. I have to be very vocal, and as does he. And I think that something that our therapist taught. I love saying our therapist. Our therapist taught me this week was she was like, we all need to learn how to say things like in the right time too.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
Yes, I am as well. So like, yes, whatever I said, I don't remember exactly like that time I told him at dinner, but we were having a great time. He felt very loved. I brought it up. He received it so well. There's been other times where I have said things in the complete wrong time where it's shit has been heightened. It hasn't been received well. And that's on me though. And that's what she was telling me. So I think
it's on both. I think it's on both of you, but it's good that you can like accept it and be like, oh, that's on me.
Right.
Because I think that's important.
Yeah.
And I think you doing that shows that it's not completely on you because it's like you're willing to accept it.
True.
But it's good that you can, but I'm like, but it goes both ways.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. But I think like that's a good lesson for the listeners, right? It's like you don't always have the opportunity to say it in the best time. And I get that. Like sometimes I'm still saying stuff when it's probably not the best time.
Right.
But I think that things are received better when the other person, it's like, gets their guard down. Okay, we're having, and then you just say it. Like you have to say it.
Right.
But I do think, things are received better when it's like everyone's at a mellow, not heightened emotional state. Yeah.
I agree. I struggle with finding the right time for that as well. So hard. It's really hard, especially when you're like having a conversation that there's like a key detail or whether it's a piece of information or a statement made, and you're like, speaking of.
Yeah,
And
exactly. You're like, actually.
on the topic.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's like not the right time to address something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will sit on something for like a week and think about it, and be afraid to bring it up. And then again, I could choose any moment during that week of thinking about it when things aren't crazy to bring that up, and I don't.
Yeah.
And then when things get crazy, I'll be like, oh, by the way, let me
Right.
drop this bomb right here. And that's not the time to do it.
No, because then it's also like it's built, like resentment has built in you. And so it's now probably like times 3 when you're saying it.
Right.
But I do think that like, yeah, communication is the number one thing, especially listening to all these people and their stories. I'm like, oh my gosh. I like we were saying, I want to ask them questions because I'm like, I wonder if they would have communicated more with their partners, like if red flags would have come out or maybe they were and they just got totally
disregarded.
I don't know.
I know, that's why it's so interesting. That's why we need to have more of you guys on. Like, let us know
and keep writing in. That was so fun.
We have an expert coming on in a couple weeks, which is why we wanted to unpack affairs. You actually have a personal tie.
He's
to
the best.
Mark Groves. Can you tell us a little bit about him?
Mark is the greatest. He's one of the top like relationship experts. And I've been so lucky to I had him on a show that I used to work on back in the day and then started doing some work with him, and he's just like one of the best human beings, like personally. And I feel like especially in this world, kind of what I was just saying with the spiritual world, it's like a lot of people are one way on camera, a lot of people a different way off camera. Mark is like what you see is what you get, and he is the most like no BS but still kind, like straight to the point. And he's, I don't know, I'm really excited for him to come on because he's like so smart. His whole thing, he built a whole platform called Create the Love that was all relationship focused. He's helped me a lot, like navigate my relationships, and I know you two had a really good conversation, and I'm really excited for everyone to listen. I
legitimately took so much away from not just the podcast, but just like talking to him like human to human over there in the corner, like off camera.
All the time.
Amazing.
It is like the biggest. Mark got to meet my current boyfriend, and it was like the biggest stamp of approval.
Wait,
when he was like,
met him?
he
Wait,
was
when
like,
did they meet?
they met when he was here for
the Gary.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
and we went to dinner with him twice.
What?
And he was like, I'm blushing because he was like, I love him, and I was like, oh my god, because getting a Mark stamp of approval,
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal. Like I'm really excited for y'all to listen because it was a good episode. You guys went deep, and he's just so cool and smart and like such a great human.
Oh my god, that makes me so happy that he. Maybe I did know that they met, but I didn't realize like. Oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was great. But I can still call him when I'm like, okay, I'm really pissed off.
Yeah.
Help. One more thing that we talked about, which was super interesting, was physical versus emotional affairs.
Ooh, yeah.
Which was like very interesting.
Yeah.
And I think that, I don't know. Well, I'll leave it on that because I think that both are awful, but I think that like men feel one way about one and women feel one way about another. And so you guys talking about that was fascinating.
Yeah, you guys have to tune in. It was a really helpful episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me, Suze. This was fun.
Oh my god, so fun. And Kelsey's going to be back again and again, I'm sure. So keep telling us your stories. Write in, send us voicemails.
Give us feedback.
Yeah, sound off in the comments. Like, let us know what topics you want us to cover and discuss.
Also, have you told them to leave reviews, Suze?
I don't think I have.
Leave a 5-star review, you guys.
Aw, thanks.
Do a little 5-star review on Apple Podcasts because honestly, it helps so much.
Aww.
Those reviews help so much. Cool. And so if you're loving the show, which clearly people are, like I know people are, leave that 5-star review for Susie. It means the world. I know that.
Thanks. Okay, well, thanks for being on here, and thanks you guys for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast has been brought to you by Podcast Nation.